stuff on not too long ago. K2FW, over to you, Per.
WX10.
And there's WX10. Good, we got a whole bunch of folks in here. Well, good morning, Jeff, and Bob, and Steve, and everyone. Get the log fired up here. Just, what the heck is going on here? Of course, it's freezing up now. Anyway, well, good morning, everyone. Beautiful Saturday morning here in southeastern PA. A little overcast. I think they're calling for a little mixture of snow maybe tonight, overnight, rain, who knows. But that's what they're calling for anyway. Lots of rain this week, though, I'll tell you that. I'm sure everybody got a lot of rain. So everything's quite saturated outside. But everybody's real strong. Bruce, you're real strong coming out of Vermont, and Bob, Jeff, Steve, everybody's about the same, but 25 over here this morning. So hopefully things hold up. Just got to run to Lowe's here, so which is why I jumped in early. I got to run to Lowe's this morning, so trying to finish up this double balanced tuner I'm building. I got to get some epoxy and a couple brackets, but not too much else going on. Over to you, Jeff, K2RAS from W3MMR.
Okay. Received it. It's hard to remember my call. W3MMR, WA2 RAS. Okay, so just looking at all the meters here. It's only the second I haven't. Yeah, anyway, not the usual rig. On the Latine radio this morning. An oldie but a goodie. You know, I was saving the story for the net, but I just can't. I got to tell you guys. Maybe I'll repeat it later, but we have this big radio club here. It's one of the biggest in the country. It's like 400 members. Actually, it used to be more. It's called Limark, and I never go on. I used to go on all the time, you know, when Hal was around. But now I never go on. So I haven't been on in months. I go on yesterday morning. It's a 2-meter repeater. So I turn the radio on, and I'm listening for maybe 60 seconds. Maybe 60 seconds. And all of a sudden, I hear a guy come on. He's calling Hal with a profanity-laced transmission, calling Hal, K6DPZ, and then someone pretending to be Hal, comes back to him. Obviously they had this rehearsed, with more profanity. With a little anti-Semitism, thrown in. And again, this is after 60 seconds. At that point, somebody shuts the repeater down, which was, I think, the appropriate maneuver. But, we were talking about this, I think, not this particular incident, but, about how, things are, kind of getting out of control here on certain frequencies. We were talking about this on a vintage net, and holy cow. I've been listening for a minute, and bam. Anyway, on that happy note, over to you, Bob. W1GTH, good signals all around, very good. WA2RAS.
W2RAS, and this is W1GTH. Yeah, good morning, Jeff, and well, there's all kinds on here, and so anyhow, I just came back from my daughter. She's actually, her and my grandson went down to watch the Seattle Seahawks play today, I guess. I don't know, somewhere down in North Carolina. I've never been to a professional sports game in my life, and I don't care if I ever do. I think they're entertaining, but I don't even want to ask her what the plane fare down and back and the tickets cost, because none of my business. She makes decent money, and so if she wants to spend it on that, then that's fine. But yeah, okay. Just kind of lock in my place here, because I need to get out of here fairly early. So if I've written it down right, I think I'm supposed to turn it over to WX10, but I'm not sure about that. So if that's who it is, then take it away. This is W1GTH.
K1 Lima Charlie.
Yeah, okay, bud. Good morning, all. WX10 here. And let's see. Steve, Kerry, Jeff, Bob, and now Bud. This is Bruce, and I am in Maryland, Kerry. I'm just south of you by 120 miles. We are in a community called Princess Anne, Maryland, on Maryland's eastern shore. And we migrate here for a portion of the cooler months down from Vermont. So I'm running a Valiant here. Tweak this thing a little bit. Yeah, these plate current needs to go down. Okay. And listening to you on HQ 129X, and that's the setup. And I guess the antenna is an inverted V. So and the wires are running north and south. That's the situation on the property here. It's the only way I can get an antenna up in the air. So if it's appropriate, I'll send it over to Bud, W1LC from WX10.
K1CCF. Okay. K9 CCF, I believe it was. You know what that is. K1LC. 15 miles southeast of Boston. Anyway. Okay, Bruce, you're coming in fine here from your alternate location. 20 over 9, that last transmission. Your Valiant's doing a great job. I haven't really listened to stations. In fact, not sure who's in here. I just turned the rig on and wanted to, Bob said, into the rotation. It's 41 degrees here, and looks kind of cloudy. I don't really know what the weather's going to do today, but I suspect it get colder. So with that, let's see. I heard that Steve is in there. I think I should turn it back to him, and he can organize the who gets it next. K2FW, K1LC.
K1 India Charlie. Good morning.
I got you there, Mr. Tribune. And who was the other station right after Bud? I was I think K9.
Q09 Tango Sierra.
Oh, okay. Very, very good. Got you there. And I guess that's everyone so far. And real good. So we got, let's see if I count right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So eight people so far. So let me get it over to K9 Tango. I forget your name again. And then send it over to Gary. K9 Tango Sugar K2FW in the AM CarrierNet Prenet.
WF2Q.
I have you, Howie.
Blowing 17 up into 28 or so. And I guess it's supposed to get even windier later, but that's okay. Bridges here, kind of listening on the side. So I'll hopefully be around for the another way to cross it. I have to take off at some point instead of driving to one point. I'll be here for a little while. K9, TTF.
TTS and the AM carrier Freenet. KYC with a quick hello. Hello to Howie and whoever else. I guess I need to up this a little bit here. There we go. I don't know if anybody's going to see any difference, but that's better. And I'm reaching over to get a few adjustments made. And we'll see how it plays out here. Looks like it's working all right. Anyway, good morning all. And Howie, say a few words and pass it back to Stevie Boy. The Senator. Senator Steve, the Senator from New Jersey. WF2Q, KYC.
Yeah, okay. KYC. Good morning to everybody. WF2Q. I was reading the mail for a while, and I heard, I think it was Jeff's comments about what's going on at a repeater. I was president of that club 25 years ago, and for you guys that don't live in the New York area, the repeater that he's talking about is the premier repeater in the New York area. The transmitter is on the top of a 750-foot building, and it's got multiple voting inputs all over Long Island. So you can pretty much get into this repeater and be heard over the entire metropolitan area. With a handy talkie from almost anywhere, and we have the ability to see, where a signal is coming from, and there have been abuses of that, not only Hal, but other people that have faced serious monetary fines from the FCC. One guy turned out to be a criminal. He was arrested, but in any event, we get these guys all the time, and the only appropriate response is, number one, don't respond if you're listening, and when it gets really bad, unfortunately, somebody pushes a button. There's almost always a control operator listening. So, unfortunately, this is where Hal hung out and got caught. Anyway, back to K2FW, WF2Q.
Yeah, very good, Howie. Yeah, I agree. The best thing to do is not to even acknowledge that kind of profanity, that kind of disgusting talk, and unfortunately, shut the repeater down. Nobody wants to do that, but sometimes that's the only option left. Mark, I apologize for not remembering your name. I still think of you as PLC. so my apologies. My apologies there. So let's see. It says 6 of. I would make the assumption that Joe should be lurking about real soon. So let me see. I'm surprised Al's not here. W1VTP. And I'm down here in the basement. And on the other side, we shouldn't bring this up. On the other side of the basement is our kitty cat's litter boxes, and I just fed her about 20 minutes ago, and I can tell you just from the sensory perceptions in my nose that she went to the litter box. So it's not pleasant at the moment down here. Let me see, Joe, N1VIB, you lurking about? This is K2FW.
Yeah, good morning, Steve. K2FW, N1VIB. Pretty much in full recovery here. Thank God. Long running. I'm not feeling well, but I think I'm finally pretty much back. So how are you this morning?
Oh, I wanted to comment on Bruce. Bruce, great signal up here. My goodness. You're hitting the 75 A4S meter to 40 over. I forgot to comment on that. And just out of curiosity, I'm a little south of Perry. I'm south and east of Perry. More east than south, but I am definitely south because and I just wonder what the distance between you and my QTH is. I think you can probably look that up. I'm sure I'd be curious. But great signal, obviously up here, Bruce. So good, great to hear you on from Maryland. Joe, do you want me to give you who's already logged in here on the prenet?
Yeah, that would be great. I was only listening for a few minutes ago and then ran upstairs to finish heating up my coffee. So, yeah, rundown would be great, I guess. There's a station in here from Maryland if we may want to float them to the top. Conditions are probably be fine. You know, only if it's good. Just depends on how far down the list they are. I just try to keep that in mind that it's no big deal. And Steve, just on a quick comment, you had sent me an email this week, but I don't think I was able to open the attachment. So, I just want to let you know, I got the email, but unfortunately I wasn't able to open the attachment, so I'm going to have to use a different format. Or maybe I need to look at it on my computer versus my phone. But in any case, just wanted to acknowledge the email. And let me send it back to you, and I'll take the rundown. E1VIV.
Okay. I probably sent it to you on my other laptop, not the one down here in the shack, so I'll take a look at my sent email and I'll try to resend it to you. Okay, if you're ready to copy, and by the way, I think everybody's going to be able to copy Bruce pretty well. I know not Mark, but Bud gave him like a 25 over signal report, so so that bodes well for everybody hearing Bruce. So here you go, myself, Perry, W3MMR, Jeff, WA2RAS, followed by Mr. Bob, W1GTH, and then Bruce, WX10, from the wilds of Maryland, and then Bud, K1 Lima Charlie, followed by Mark, Kilo 9 Tango Sugar, and then an esteemed Straight Key Century Club member, K1 India Charlie, and then Howie from Longeth Island, WF2Q. And that's everyone so far there, Joe. N1VIB, K2FW.
Yeah, okay, well, thanks for the rundown. That's fabulous. We got about 2 minutes here. I'm just going to straighten out some of my scribbling here. Let's see, Jeff's prefix. Bob, 1GTH. Oh, so good morning to Bruce from Maryland. Yeah, I think maybe you checked in from Maryland last week as well, so glad to hear you're in here. And seems like conditions are quite good, Steve. You're like solid 25-30 over 9 here. It's like really silence and everything. It's half, so to speak. Oh, pretty on. I did not wake up that long ago, so we need to ingest a little more coffee. And see what we can stir up here on the AM carrying this morning. So
I woke up at 10 o'clock and I let finishes out of bed to magnify video back to sleep.
And I think you're right. I think conditions are quite good here. I feel like it looks like I'm a little bit low. I'm trying to put that back there.
Okay,
there we go. That's a little better. So, yeah, it's nice to see the sun. Boy, I'll tell you, down here, there was really heavy fog all day yesterday. And on and off periods of rain, and so just took the dog out and was happy to see a little bit of sunshine out there. That's a very good thing. I'm showing 8 o'clock here, so we'll get things rolling. I am just getting the brain cells firing on all cylinders, so my apologies if I seem a little sluggish. But we'll get there, I'm sure. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the AM Carrier Net. My name is Joe. My call is N1VIV, and I'm located in Stonington, Connecticut. The AM carrier net meets every Sunday morning, 8 a.m. local time here on 3835 on the 75-meter band. The AM carrier net was established for the purpose of promoting and enjoying operations in the AM mode. It's a casual net. There's no requirement to check in other than being able to operate in the AM mode. We certainly like to hear from new stations who might be just beginning to explore interest in AM, whether you're on a resurrection or a boat anchor, or maybe trying to get a more modern radio that sounds good on AM. On any given Sunday, there's a whole host of participants with knowledge and information to that end. So all are welcome. Please join in. Format of the nets, big check-ins by call district. And if there's check-ins during round one, we can try to tack those folks in at the end of round one. And if there's check-ins during round two, we typically try to weave those folks in as we go. Certainly want to pause momentarily and say good morning to anybody that might be in just in listening mode, whether you're a licensed radio amateur or maybe you're shortwave listening in either case. If you're just listening, good morning. Also want to let folks know if, for whatever reason, you're on a short timeline this morning, just let me know when you check in by saying something like, please float me to the top, and I'll do my best to put you in up at the top of round one so that we can get you in here and off to whatever other responsibilities you may have. And let's see. I don't think there's any other primary formalities other than ingesting more coffee. So let's take check-ins from the first call district. One land stations for the AM carrier net. Please call now. This is N1 VIV. W1 I had a perfect double there, and I think it meant maybe it was Chris down the street here. Kind of wiped everything out. I was not able to copy either station. Let's try that again, maybe just in sequence, one at a time, or 1 and 2 and 3 at a time. Maybe that was a triple. Who knows? Listening again for our one land stations. N1 VIV.
W1EKG in the nose.
W1EKG. Good morning, Ross. You know, I just had my sensitivity on the receiver turned way up, and your signal was so strong it was really overloading. So did I hear you say that, which is a good thing, boy, your band's been bombing in here, no question. Did you say, do you want me to float you to the top, or are you checking in and you have to run? And let me just check with Ross. W1EKG, did you say you wanted to go to the top, or did you say you're checking in and out?
Yeah, it's W1EKG. Yeah, I gotta go food shoplifting with the XYL this morning, so I'm just gonna do an in and out.
Okay, well, we've got you. Very good, W1. EKG. Well, good luck with the food shopping. Nice to hear you. Boy, really strong. Very, very strong signal. But it sounds like you've got to go straight out the door. So, very nice to hear you in here this morning, and sounds like you might need to transition quickly to departure. No trouble. Let's listen for other one land stations. This is N1 VIV and the AM carriers.
Is my antenna down? W1 VTP.
No, good morning, Al. Unbelievable. W1 VTC. Maybe if you checked in at the same time as Ross, I think I had my receiver sensitivity turned too far up. The signals are so strong. It's overloading. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, in any case, I'm hearing you just fine. Good morning. Hope you're well. Excellent. I've got W1 VTC. Any other one land stations for the net? Please call now. Well, I heard somebody in there kind of light, but let's give it another try. Maybe give me a call a couple of times phonetically. I did hear somebody else in there, okay? Yeah, I'm not able to make it out on time. Is anybody else hearing that station? And is that people wants to try again? Give me a call a couple of times and see if I can pull you through.
And these sidebanders are really just coming right in on top of us.
Two station. Yeah, I got the Kilo Delta 2, I think. Did anybody else hear him any more clearly? I couldn't pull him out.
Alpha Zulu India.
Oh, okay. Kilo Delta 2 Alpha Zulu India. Okay. So we'll have to give it a try. It sounds like, is that you, Jim?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'll put you right in, I guess, here. We're moving to two land, I think, anyway, but it doesn't much matter. So, W1, thanks for the help there. W1, oh, I'm sorry, no, W2, race start. NER. I'm drawing a blank on it. No? Okay. Very good. Well, I don't think there were any additional one-land stations, but I'll listen just in case. Any other one-land stations for the net? And one air left. Good morning, Rob. Nice to hear you. N1A L F. Excellent. Very good. Wow, we've got quite a turnout just starting off here. We have 22 left. So it's quite remarkable. Good. Let's give another listen to any other one-land stations for the net. Okay, so we'll have any other technology stations for the net? Please call now. This is N1VI. Yeah, okay, well, nothing else good there. Let's give a general listen here, general checking. Any stations anywhere? 1, 2, 3, 4s and beyond. Hold there and turn. Oh, nothing else heard there. So we've got quite a substantial group to get us started here. No problem at all. About 808. Not too bad. Let's do one more listen to some shit. Any stations anywhere for the next call now. Okay, well, nothing else heard there, so we will proceed. Trying to see, I believe that station checking in, I think it's Kilo Delta 2, Alpha Zulu India. I don't believe we've heard from that station before, so let's try to float them to the top there. Let me see that right now. Kilo Delta 2. Alpha Zulu India. We've got you floated to the top there for introduction. And we'll proceed. Finally starting to wake up here. With some additional caffeination. So let's do the rundown here of check-ins, and then we'll get round one started. I'll get things started with some comments. I'm going to send it over to
Kilo Delta 2 Alpha Zulu India. Is that his? Is that your right call sign? Over. Yes, he acknowledged affirmative. That is his call. Well, if that's true, he's down here. I just looked him up on QRZ. His name's Jeff, and he's in Haddonfield, which is northwest of me. And but he's very, very down in the mud. I can hear him in there. I can make out some words here and there. He's actually between Perry and I. Perry, he's between us. So in Haddonfield, in South Jersey. So back to you, Joe. N1VIV, K2FW.
Joe,
I heard some.
He's using an ART-13. I got that.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Jeff. And who else heard a little bit of his transmission there?
Yeah, Rob, N1, exactly. And you said, I believe he said this is his first AM transmission, and he's going to keep it short because of the conditions.
Oh, yeah, well, okay, well, I think we patched together your information there, Jeff, and my apologies that I'm not able to hear you all that well, but I think a few folks were able to hear you, and welcome to the AM Carrier. I guess we've got your name of Jeff, and you're in southern New Jersey, so that's excellent, and I think you're using an AR-15. I'm not sure what your antenna arrangement is, but in any case, certainly, that is a reasonably formidable AM transmitter for sure, and a classic. So congratulations on getting that on the air. And certainly invite you to come by and join us as often as you can here on Sunday, for sure. Let me send it back to you just to see if I can pull out any other comments there, Jeff. And then we'll continue down the list. Anything else there, Jeff, before we go forth? I'll see if I can pull you out. KD2 AZI, this is N1VIV. Sent it back to me there. I did copy a little bit of that you need to put work on there. Let's see if the QRM is reduced, for round 2, which will probably be in about 45 minutes or so. We'll probably be able to hear you more clearly. So, very nice to make your acquaintance, sir. Welcome to the net, and please swing by when you can, and we'll look forward to maybe hearing the best version and be able to hear you a little bit better. But if you're staying for round 2, maybe with some reduced QRM, we might be able to copy you a little bit better. Okay, so on down the list, over to you, Steve. And I think we all have the order from there, so take it away. K2FW and the AM Carrier Net. This is N1VIV.
If I might make a suggestion.
Yeah, go ahead, Al.
Most likely signals will come up for our friend's turn. So I urge him to stick around. Go ahead, the next station, go ahead.
Yeah, it's me, Steve. Good morning, Al. W1VTP, K2 Fuzzy Wuzzy in southern New Jersey. Yeah, if he is actually located in Haddonfield, he should be booming in, especially using an ART-13. Bob, W1GTH, that's his transmitter of choice, and Bob is always really, really loud. So maybe Jeff just has antenna problems. It's not that he doesn't have enough audio, because I'm not even hearing his carrier. I'm hearing a little bit of audio in the background, but it's very, very, very weak, and he should be booming in. Like I said, he's between Perry and I. Perry's a little bit farther north and west over in Pennsylvania, and Haddonfield, so on this side of the Delaware River. So he's between Perry and I, and he should be booming in. But he's not, and that could be an antenna problem. So anyway, good morning to everyone. on the net. I'm not going to make this a long transmission. We have, again, 16 people, so we want to, try and keep the comments brief. But again, I want to acknowledge Bruce down there in Maryland. It's great to have somebody south of us. And booming signal up here. Bruce sounds great. Great audio as well. Also wanted to acknowledge Gary. Gary's a member of the Straight Keys Century Club, and he just made it. He's climbing up the ladder of all the different awards, and he's really doing great. We now have 4 members, 4 people that are on this net that are now in the Straight Keys Century Club. Myself, Gary, Jerry, who's not on this morning, W1ZB, and just joined. I saw you in there, Jim. W82M MER is now a member of the Straight Keys Century Club as well. So if you like old school AM, you'll love old school CW as well. So very, very, very cool club. Just another comment on what Jeff related to us and Howie related also. As Howie said, I agree 100% with Howie. It's just best to ignore that kind of stuff. It's a shame that stuff goes on the on a repeater that covers as much as that repeater does on Long Island, and it's really regretful that they have to temporarily turn it off. But at that point, you really don't have any choice. So that was quite a story, Jeff, that you related to us. That's about it from here. I'm going to keep it moving. And we'll be listening out through the entire first round, and good to hear, the great participation that we have on the net this morning. So over to Mr. Perry with the big signal from Southeast Pennsylvania, W3MMR in the AM carrier net. Take it away, Perry, from K2 Fuzzy Wuzzy in Southern New Jersey.
All right, Steve, K2FW. In the AM carrier net from W3MMR. Real good, Steve. Great signal, buddy. 30 over the entire time. Joe, you're very strong here this morning as well. Good morning to you. Good morning, Al. And good morning to Rosie if she's in the background. Yeah, everybody's at least 15 over, 10 to 15 over, with the exception of our friend in Hamilton or Haddonfield. I think that's where he said he was at. I could be wrong. I have a tendency of forgetting if I don't write things down right away. But nevertheless, I agree with you, Steve. He should be bombing in here, ART-13 or not. Even if he was running 5 watts, we should be able to hear him. So maybe he's having some antenna problems there. So hopefully he'll get that straightened out. Just on the Anon this morning, SDR, the Anon 200D. This morning in the AL80B into an 80-meter doublet, 600 ohm ladder line fed up about 60 feet, and running about 175 watts or so a carrier here this morning. And this is going to be my one and done. I'm going to do some running around here this morning. Got to head off to Lowe's and get the some epoxy and a few other odds and ends for this double balanced tuner build that I'm building over here. And I just got the vacuum capacitor, came in the mail I guess 3 days ago or so. So all I have to do, all that's left is to mount that, wire the capacitor up, and then mount an SO239 somewhere on the board. But everything else is done. The inductor, I wound my own inductors and wound my own choke and all that stuff. So looking forward to that. So nevertheless, 7-3 guys, we'll listen out. We'll have the recording running here like I normally do, and if you guys want to check it out after the net is over, this and should be up by this afternoon, check out the AM window. The AM window on YouTube is the name of my channel, and I have quite a few recordings of the AM carrier net on there from the past weeks, and lots of other good AM recordings on there as well. So give it a gander, and I will talk to you guys a little bit later. Over to you, Jeff, and sorry about your call earlier. You know how that goes. WA2RAS in the AM carrier net, 7-3 from W3MMR.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Perry. W3MMR. This is WA2RAS, I think. Very good. Good signals, very good signals all around. Little bit of QSB. I thought Jeff, New Jersey Jeff, KD2AZI, I thought his audio was good, but the signal strength, you don't need me to tell you that there's a QRM, and it was taking him out. So it was too weak, but the audio I thought was good, when I could hear it. So there's that. I'm not going to repeat the story I told in the pre-net, but, how we... about that, it's a big repeater. Actually, there's multiple machines, and the signal from that repeater is enormous. I can't, it's like a broadcast station. It's that powerful. And so you can, really hear that repeater from far away, and holy cow. I mean, that was really, really disgusting, and I had only been on for 60 seconds, and I think they were smart to shut it down. Okay. Meanwhile, on the Latine radio, there you go, this morning, listening on an HQ215, and, maybe prices of vintage gear are starting to go up a little bit. I know when Hal flooded the market with his non-working junk, the prices, really plunged for good reason. Most of this stuff was worthless. But, like this one not like this one, on eBay, and the guy is asking $1,500. It's obviously non-working. And, obviously the guy's a mental patient, he's not going to get that kind of money. But it's interesting that they would ask for that. So I thought that was good. Let's see, we also, got to tell you this one. I saw in the news a lady was having her packages stolen from her front porch repeatedly. She had lost about 20 packages, from Amazon and, others, and, they just steal it off the porch. So what she started to do is just pack trash and cat litter in boxes on the porch, and the boxes of trash and cat litter have been stolen 4 times already. So hopefully enjoy that. Now we have a 2-meter AM net on, if anybody's interested, on Thursday night at 7 p.m. on 145.000. Thursday night, 7 p.m., 145.000. And all welcome. Brother Local, for old gear, anything 1984 or earlier, a vintage net Friday mornings at 8:30. Friday mornings 8:30 on 3805. On that note, this will be my only transmission. I will be listening out over to Bob, whose AR-13 is fantastic. Here it comes, Bob. W1
WA2RAS and the AM Carrier Group, W1GTH, Bob in Walcott, Connecticut, on the ART-13. I don't know, this fellow checked in the KB2AZI. If you're hearing me, then hopefully there's something wrong with your antenna, because usually get pretty good signal reports. Only putting out about 100 watts, but it seems to be doing pretty good, and it's into a dipole, an 80-meter dipole from W7FG, which sells what they call true dipoles. There is no solder connections between the end of the antennas and where it comes right into my house here, and is connected directly to the a small tuner that I have here. So Usually the ART-13 does pretty well. I'm curious as to whether you're running a DY-17 dynamotor, or you are fortunate enough, like myself, to pick up a really big, heavy-duty power supply, AC power supply. So, anyhow, enough of that. And I'm getting a lot of, which is normal for me, a lot of QRM here, because I'm running the BC348 receiver, which is a companion to the ART-13, and that's a 1940 vintage receiver, has absolutely no filters in it at all, and so I just try to twist it down around there to where I can hear everybody on the net. Sometimes there's guys below us, sometimes guys above me, but you guys do not hear it, I'm assuming, and so it's always a little problem with me, but everybody pretty good. So anyhow, that's enough out of me. It's getting to be a fairly large net here every Sunday, and which is a good thing, but we need to, like Steve said, need to keep our transmissions down. No long-winded transmissions from me. I've never been guilty of that. I don't have that much to say anyway, so that's going to be about it. I heard Joe talking about your dog, Joe, and I went over this morning to let my daughter's dog out. Thankfully, she only lives a couple tenths of a mile away from me, and she's down at the Seattle Seahawks game with my grandson down in, I don't know, Carolina somewhere, and they flew down yesterday, and so I do there's not even a duel, so I do double duty. Well, I do it all week long anyway. When she goes to work, I'm over there a couple times a day, just letting him out and do his thing, and he wants to sniff the air on the ground more than he wants to do his thing, but I try to have a little patience with him, and he's a good little guy. So anyhow, I'm looking at my list here, and I believe that I'm going to turn it over to Bruce, WX10. I'm hoping that's the right list, and so we'll catch you guys next week, hopefully. And, so this is W1GTH, turning it over to WX10. 730.
Okay, Bob. Yep, that's correct. Let's see. Hope I'm making it. Appears though I'm standby. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Well, good morning, guys. Everyone on the frequency. I'm hearing just about everybody, but I am using some receiver aids, for example. Receiver aids such as QIX SDR and FEF SDR. Geographically, I appear to be at the bottom of the barrel down here, the southernmost station, and most of my sideband stations that are crowding in are probably south of me yet. So I'm hearing, relying on the QIX SDR and hearing most everybody very clearly, especially good morning to Jeff, KD2AZI. Heard him quite loudly and very clear, good audio on the QIX SDR receiver this morning. Well, here we are in Princess Anne, Maryland. We're on the eastern shore of Maryland, that little strip of land that lies between the Chesapeake Bay and the Atlantic Ocean. And Steve FW, K2FW, I attempted to look up the distance between Princess Anne and is it Blue Harbor, New Jersey? And Google would like to take me by car. So that's misleading. I don't know what the air miles or the radio miles are between your locations, but I'm going to guess maybe less than 100 or just about 100. It's 125 miles from me to the Delaware Memorial Bridge, more or less. Well, actually 115, I think, to the Delaware Memorial Bridge. So that should give you some idea of where we are. we're about 10 miles south of Salisbury, Maryland, the biggest community on Maryland's eastern shore. So let's see. I guess that's about it. Thank you for the signal reports. I'm using a Valiant here, and anticipating in not too distant future, Frostfest in Richmond, Virginia, which is the first Saturday in February, which coincides with February 1st. So we'll have a presence there and a table, and look forward to meeting anybody who wants to travel down far south. So next up on the list is Bud. I'm only going to make one transmission this morning, but I'll be listening. W1LC from WX10. Go ahead, Bud.
Okay, Bruce. X10, this is K1LC. I know there's a W1LC. In fact, I think I worked him once, but I haven't heard him on for quite a while. Yeah, great copy way down there in Maryland. Still coming in fine. In fact, everyone is coming in 2.5 and a lot of 25s this morning into my Flex 1500, which I'm using as a receiver. I know the S-meter is a bit stingy compared to the great R4C. I don't know which one is accurate, but it's a great it's still pretty cold here. Not freezing, but it's coming up to 42 degrees. And I guess it's going to stay that way most of the day. We'll get some of that Monday or so. So far, the fall here has been unusual. We've had storm after storm, either rain or snow, and every storm brings with it high winds. And that's been doing a job on my full-wave loop, which I've had up for years so far. But it seems like every storm fails in it. You get out there and repair it, and then the next storm comes along, and another leg is broken. So that may be ending its useful. We'll have to see. Not much else going on here. We're expecting our kids to do some visiting over the holidays. They're pretty far-flung. One is in Washington, D.C., another in North Carolina, and a third one in Dominican Republic. So come every day. Ham radio-wise, I'm using my homebrew Class D grade air, which is what I usually use. I have my other ones are closer to 100 watts. And I'm working on an antenna analyzer that was described in a QST issue about a year ago. I'm still waiting for parts. I order parts from eBay, and most of them come from China, and they have unusually long delivery times. Sometimes they never get here at all. I have to reorder some parts. Probably enough for me. I will be listening throughout the first round. I don't know if I'm going to have a slim chance I'm going to get back at this 1780. It comes around here soon. I'm not sure. So with that, pass it up to Salem, New Hampshire. Mark.
Grab it real quick. Okay.
going to grab it real quick. I had somebody popping in there. I think they were saying that they needed to check out. I just want to see who was that? I wasn't able to copy who it was. Well, they may have needed to depart, so my apologies on that. But let's see if Mark's there, and then we'll just try to navigate to the list. If there's someone missing, we'll know it was them. But let's send it over to you, Mark. Cleaner and TTF. This is N1VIV in the AM carrier. Well, maybe it was Mark that needed to check out. So he may have needed to depart. I'm not hearing him right now, but we'll certainly loop back in case he gets back to the switch, so to speak. So let's send it to Gary down there in Fairfield. Good morning to you, Gary. K1IC. You're in the AM carrier net. This is N1VIV.
Okay, very well, and good morning. To the AM carrier net, this is Kilo 1 India Charlie in Fairfield, Connecticut, the front field section thereof. Good morning, Joe. Sounded quite good. This is everybody else's as well. Let me turn this down over here. Okay, so we're in the end of the semester routine of finals, and with that also comes the time to do holiday decorations and all of the activity that ends up eating up a lot of your time here. And no complaints about that, other than there doesn't seem to be enough time to get it all done. But then again, that's always the way it is. So, coming up on a large segment of free time, so I will be using that appropriately to have fun here in the shack. I've got some projects ready to go. Some of them always involve cleaning, however. Yeah, pushing back entropy is always an important game. And nothing else to report otherwise. You heard from Steve that I have been active in the SKCC organization and have been moving up as I make more contacts. The ladder of recognition. Having fun. My CW skills are getting better, which is a big goal here. And I enjoy meeting and talking with and recognizing new people and their style of sending. I actually got on the phone and talked to Steve, which I would normally not have done, and so that's been fun as well. And so there's so many people on here, I don't think I'm going to carry on at all. I would have appreciated to hear what the frequency of the repeater is. I guess, Howard, you're up next. Maybe you can tell me. The big one on Long Island that I should be able to hear here as well. I don't know which one you're talking about, although Chet, WB2AHK, was involved in building something that would add to the network of directionality so that you could tell where a signal was coming from and to help root out some of the problems. I don't know if that's the same machine or not, but it's a nice idea, and it's a fun project, too, to put together. So the Nano VNA that I purchased about 2 weeks ago had arrived without the entire package. That is to say, that it was sold as a sale item, including an RF test kit in it, but that did not arrive. So I followed the procedure in eBay where I bought it and contacted the seller directly through eBay, and I got what looked like a robo response back saying that I was welcome to return the unit for a complete refund to California. But that's not what I asked for. I asked for the part, and so I sent it again and saying, look, I know I'm not interested in returning it. I want that part. And again, I got the exact same response back suggesting that it was in fact a robocall. So I looked at the process, and eBay wants you to wait X days before you contact them for an intervention. But I called them anyway to get some advice, and so I talked to one of their team members, and he laughed. He said they probably don't understand English and for their Chinese operation, since the units come from China, and they're probably not even looking at it. And so if you wait these X days, we will then get involved. But you might call Wrightham and ask them for a partial refund instead of the part, and so I did that as well. And 2 days later, I got an answer saying, yes, you can have a partial refund, and it was through the eBay system. So you go to it, and it says, do you accept this settlement? And I clicked yes, and instantly got my refund. So I've been pleased with that operation. So when you run into these problems, so far eBay has done a nice job of doing. I think Amazon has had the same situation. The VNA itself is fun to use. I got the 4.3-inch TFT model, the F model, and I was playing with it yesterday, calibrating and measuring both return loss and SWR on a couple of antennas at the local club. Playing around with Smith's chart stuff, which I've done before, so I spent some time learning how to use them, and they're quite good. They're very useful in design. Not so much in antenna work. You don't really need to know all that, but it will tell you whether you need to add inductance or capacitive reactance to get to your magic 50 ohms. And it does some other things too, which I will learn as time goes on. It does delay reflectometry, so you can actually, if you know the velocity factor of a cable, you can tell how long it is. And that's always a useful thing when you have 100 or 150 feet of cable and you want to know exactly how long it is. Anyway, or how far you are away from your antenna, whatever you want, RF-wise. Anyway, so that's the only other thing I can tell people here, so good to hear everybody. All signals are good so far. Bruce, you're sounding not as strong as you are from Vermont, but I was listening. You probably need to go listen to you on the K3 FEF machine and listen to you there. You're of course stronger than you were here. So with that, just say good morning to Rob ALX down the road here from me, and all's well there. By the way, Rob, you know that those fan covers that you pointed me to, they don't snap on. You actually pull the cover off it, and the inside unit gets screwed into the fan. So I replaced the grills with them, and it's not much quieter, but it certainly will be clean. With that, and good morning to VIV as well, Joe. I'm going to send it to Howie over there in Kings Park. This is Kilo 1 India Charlie. Go ahead, Howie, take it over.
Yeah, okay, K1IC and the AM Carrionet. Good morning from WF2Q, where it's 44 degrees and cloudy in Kings Point. The repeater you're talking about is the W2VL repeater. It's 146.850 is the output, and 146.250 is the input, and the PL is 136.5. And unfortunately, my radio will work better if I increase the power. Hang on a second. Okay, I signal should get a little better now. Anyway, you know, it's you're a victim of your own success. Everybody in the New York area knows where to go, and unfortunately the bad guys know where to go. And every once in a while we get the federales to get after a guy like Hal, who's the latest abuser to be punished, although he'll probably never pay the fine. And where he's sitting in the Bronx in that facility, you put a handy-talkie in his hand, he's going to be able to access this repeater very easily. So it is what it is. And you can listen on this band late at night sometimes, or sometimes during the day. You get somebody that's kind of doing the same thing, although he doesn't have as big an audience, maybe a wider area, but people-wise he doesn't have as big an audience. And especially when we do nets on a repeater. I mean, there are a lot of people listening in the New York metropolitan area, and you can hear that repeater well up into Connecticut. And we have other repeaters co-located on that site. We even have a 1.2 gigahertz repeater that you can hit from that site to 50 miles away with a handy talkie on 1.2. So it's something we got to live with. We try to enforce it, but you can only do so much, and that's the real world. Somebody mentioned stuff from China. Like you want a lifetime supply of diodes or something like that for a few bucks. I've ordered stuff from China, and I'm always surprised at how quickly it gets here. I mean, typically 2 weeks. One time I was restoring a radio, and I needed basically an S meter, and I got a meter that was the same value and the same physical size, so all I had to do was swap the scale. $3.42 from China, and I had it in 2 weeks. So that's why a lot of companies have gone out of business here. But I always order that stuff through eBay, and I have had very good experience, whether it was that or audio equipment that cost a lot of bucks from China and was excellent, and also delivered fairly quickly. And I never had a problem with something coming here in pieces. So, for what it's worth, I was multitasking when I was copying down the list. So what I have is KD1MI, which I think is correct, but if it isn't, somebody pick it up. Over to you, WF2Q.
That would probably help if I DOT. Must have been up frequency. There we go. That's better. Now I can see myself there. Anyway, listening on Steve's web SDR between the QRM and the occasional rat-a-tap-tap from whatever that pulse noise is. I come up here and use the web SDR. It takes a lot of that out. It gets pretty loud here when it's in there. But I exercised in 7300 or the 430 on AM. It certainly does a better job, I think, on AM than the 7300 does. A little more frequency response. And the audio is a little bit better. About 100 watts per carrier and into the center fed jack there. 600 ohm antenna trailing up to it. So, that's the rundown here. Like I said, running a little different setup. Let's see. There's a busy week coming up. Both vehicles are getting inspected. My Subaru and my little car there. I got to get the muffler replaced on my little car. That'll cost. Well, it's always something there. The comments on the on 2 meters. I don't even get on 2 meters anymore. 2 meters, 440 equipment. It's pretty well dead up here. And you're right. You can occasionally hear stuff you don't want to hear on 75 at night, especially when the bands open up. And even 40 meters, there's what, 7290 or something. Maybe not up that high, maybe 7200, I don't know. Anyway, there's a bunch of riffraff in there as well. So you think you turned on channel 19, but on the TV band. Actually, that's even probably cleaner than some of the stuff I hear on HL. That's a shame, but that's the way it's gotten to be. Anyhow, let's see. I guess I don't have anything else for the first round. Signals are good. Everybody's there. Like I said, I'm listening on the web SDR, and everybody's got good signals. And hopefully, Jeff there, the news station there, and he didn't catch his call. But he came up there briefly, and then he faded back into the noise there. Of course, the QRM was really bad, so there's not much we can do about that. I mean, you can only tighten up the filter so much. And the web SDR has pretty good filtering on it, and it's still tough to pick him out. So I'm going to send it down to Mr. Al there. Maybe we'll hear from Rosie this morning. W1VTP from KE1MI. Good morning, everybody. I'll be around for the second round.
2 Romeo Alpha.
Oh, got a check in there. I think that might be Janice. Let me see. Is that you, Janice?
Yes, Alpha Bravo 2, Romeo Alpha on the Viking 2.
Yeah, AB2RA. Good morning to you. AB2RA. This is N1VIV. The name is Joe. I'm in Stony Creek, Connecticut. Nice to hear you this morning. So we've got you tacked in at the end of round 1 here. So let's see, Rob, N1ALF. Please send it over to Janice, AB2RA, out there in New York. Okay, and then Janice, if there's any other check-ins, we'll tack them in after you, and if not, it'll come back up to the top of the list to me. So over to Al. Good morning to you, Al. W1VTP. This is N1VIV.
Good morning, all. W1VTP, and I'm going to, please forgive me, I'm going to get out my soapbox and bring up a couple of points. And that is the DX pilot mentality. If stations know that they only have a limited amount of time before net control goes in with a response, the tendency is for everybody to dump their call in all at once. And we experienced that firsthand this morning. In my view, the cure is do as I do and also Joe, W3GMS does, and that is to wait. Don't just respond right away to who checks in. That would discourage the DX pilot mentality where everybody dumps their call in all at once for fear that they'll not be recognized. So the suggestion that after 67 years of involvement with nets and net control, to wait and then give people a chance and let them know that they get time to check in. And also one of the tricks that have been used successfully on several nets is you say this is, and let go of your transmit, and then if there's nobody transmitting, then finish your call. And on the other hand, the other people, if they hear a this is, they know enough not to transmit until this person gets the rest of his call in. Just a couple of suggestions. Okay. I still have not yet gotten our friend's call sign right. I got KE2 of AZI, but that's not right, obviously. And I can't look up his call on the ULAR call sign lookout. They have a lot of flexibility in their call sign. You can just put the 2 A's, the Z question, and call it a 1x3 or 2x3, and see what the list of calls are that come up with a match. And I hope that thing isn't off the air. That's going to be a terrible loss in my view. Oh yeah, I have gotten off my soapbox, by the way. Jim, WA2MER, I have a hardcover copy of At Dawn We Slept, all 873 pages worth. It's in pretty good condition. I was very pleased. Yes, I did pay a little extra money, but boy, that's going to take me into a few years to finish reading. On repeater interference or abuse problems, that's one of the few things, if you look at the disciplinary section of the Communications Commission, there's a preponderance of disciplinary actions against people that abuse repeaters. They're especially sensitive to remote controlled stations where there's a control operator somewhere listening to that repeater. And so they're very, very sensitive to the general concept of the repeater action. So if one has put in an official complaint, there should be some action on it, based on past experience anyway. So that's my comment for this round. And I am looking frantically here down the pages, and I did not see a call sign to turn it over to. So blame it on the lack of caffeine. I'll let Joe straighten me out. So we want to DTP.
Yeah, okay, Al. Very good. Yeah, appreciate those thoughts and suggestions. Excellent. That's kind of contrary to my normal approach, but a good way of looking at it. So thank you. Appreciate it. Let's see. Oh, right. So we originally had Jeff KD2 AZI here, but we uploaded him to the top, so that means it's going over to Jim. And thanks for that help with that relay there, Jim. WA2MER and the AM carrier net. This is N1VIV.
Okay, Joe, thank you. N1VIV. In the group, this is WA2MER. See, my power got down a little bit. Let me just get back to where I need to be. Okay, very good. Yeah, very good morning. Decent signals all around. Al, you're the channel master. You're 30 over 9. You generally Steve is, but yeah, you win the prize today. Glad you're able to find that book, by the way. I think you're going to find it a fascinating read, as you get around to it. So I wasn't sure. I think it's out of print, but glad you found a copy. And I think Joe mentioned the call of Jeff, Kilo Delta 2 Alpha Zulu India. And by the way, Jeff, welcome. If you're still listening here, nice looking station. I looked you up on the QRZ page, so very good. I'm running the Icon this morning, the Pro 2 into the L7. Nothing fancy. My vintage station is sleeping until the AW and A a little bit later. And my temporary retirement will be over January 6th when I start my new job. I knew I wasn't going to sit still for very long, so kind of looking forward to doing that. Excuse me. Yes, Steve, you already beat me to it on the announcement, the Straight Key Century Club. Haven't done anything yet with it. Haven't gotten on the air. Don't know when I will, because things are a little bit busy, even though I'm going to be off for the next 3 weeks. Working on my AM transmitter and a few other things around the house here, so not sure when I'm going to get on, but I definitely will. And I have a very good friend of mine who I've known for over 40 years, and he actually handmade a straight key, machined the whole thing out of brass, including the base. I mean, everything. The only thing he didn't make was the knob and the nuts to hold it on. So it's an absolutely beautiful piece, and that's what I'm going to be using when I do get on the air. Not a whole lot to say about the repeater woes. It's such is life. Maybe that's what's so nice about CW. You probably don't have a lot of hecklers and nonsense in CW. I don't know. I don't think they get a lot of bang for the buck trying to heckle you on CW, so maybe that's a little bit more of a gentlemanly mode of operation there. And Gary, and Howie, I'd had one bad experience with eBay, which turned out very good. eBay did their intervention after the appointed time. Someone offshore had bought some tubes. They were in Vietnam. They claimed that my tubes didn't work. And I said, okay, send them back. Of course, I tested them, but I'm saying, send them back. I'll give you a refund. And they send me back in the mail a blown 3AG size fuse. That's what came in the box. So that case got resolved very, very quickly. But eBay was very, very good. But other than that, I have no problem with offshore. Al, thank you for your comments on the check-ins near the top of the hour. You've heard me refer to that occasionally as a feeding frenzy. When you get close to the top of the hour, you got to check in. Well, for crying out loud, in 5 minutes, you're going to get checked in. And if you have an urgent matter, Joe or Joe squared, depending on what net you're on, will float you to the top. It's not like you're going to get the last Cabbage Patch Kid when you bust the doors open. Christmas time. Remember that years ago? Everybody was trampling. It's a feeding frenzy. Come on, you'll get in there. You'll get a slot. There's an infinite number of slots. So that's about it for that. And one thing, I am on the hunt, and Steve, you're going to laugh about this, but I'm looking for a 240-volt Variac that'll handle at least 15 amps. I think you said yours, Steve, that I turned down was a 220. I didn't anticipate needing one, but I do need one now. So if anybody's got one, touch base with me, please. Again, 240 volts, at least 15 amps. With that, one and done today. 73 all, and I will turn it to Rob. N1ALF from WA2MER.
All right, good morning. Speaking of repeaters, let me turn this one down. Good morning, everyone, and me, I'm Terry Net. I hope some people were able to get on Wednesday for the 1BCG event, the 98th anniversary, the first shortwave transmission from here from Greenwich, Connecticut over to Scotland, spearheaded by 1BCG Clark. And he was up at the leagues. K3FEF was up there. KB3WFE, Brian from Maryland, Clark, Bob Allison, Chris W2PL or something like that. And I guess because it was a weekday, but it went well. Bob Allison was over at the lab there running the Gates big AM transmitter, so it seemed to go very well. And Clark is probably already sitting down there planning the 100th anniversary, which most likely will be down here in Greenwich, Connecticut again, like it was for the 95th anniversary. And Joe, I wish well for your lab. As you would see on my QRZ page, I have two beautiful English labs, Lily and Emma. Lily's going on 10, and Emma's going on 9 there. So yeah, I can see as they progress there, Lily's got arthritis and stuff, but sometimes it's selective arthritis when she wants to jump around. But as I say to people, I says, when I come home, I hug my dogs and pet my girlfriend. You know, our best friends, loyal to the end. Matter of fact, she's here somewhere. She went up to see the grandchildren, but she's my radio girl. She loves sitting down here listening to everybody on the radio. I go looking for her, and she's down here listening. And on the repeater there, and hello Howie there. My first adventures on amateur radio in 2 meters was the line mark repeater for many, many years, and they guys had problems jamming. Weka has it over in Valhalla, has it jamming, same situations. And I learned back from the CB days, the more you talk to the people, the more you encourage them. Yeah, my grandson just scared me. And the more you talk to them, the more you encourage them. Like I've always said, no comedian has an audience if nobody. Yeah, hold on. Say hello. Say hello, Mateus.
Hello.
What's your name?
Mateus.
And how old are you?
4.
4. And how old are you going to be?
5.
5. You're going to be a ham radio operator? Yeah, there you go. Anyway, you know, don't touch that. If you don't give them an audience, they won't pay attention. All right, I got to revert over to these guys. So 7 trees, everyone, and have a good one. And over to Janice W. Wait, go to AB2RL, and I see Janice, you have a couple of K7DYYs. That's what we're operating off. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. And One Life, over to you, Janice.
Okay, very good. Thank you for letting me in. Jim, WA2MER. I have available 240 volt, 20 amp Variac that I'm willing to part with. We need to figure out how to get it to you. I don't know what your location is. On a quick break, do you have my email? Can you contact me by email? WA2MERAB2RA.
Yeah, if it's assuming it's on QRZ, I will have it over.
Yep, I'm good on QRZ. So drop me an email and let me know. I have not actually used it. I acquired it in a big sort of trade, and I have a 115 volt one which I use, and this one here is 220, and I've just never had a need for it. So you're welcome to it if we can figure out how to get to it, get it to you, and anyway, the carrier net, I believe, goes back to the as early as the mid to late 70s, I used to check into a group which had a couple of guys who ran Collins KW1s who were known as the Buffalo Bookends. And those were enjoyable times, better times actually. And Straight Key SKCC is a great group. I've enjoyed my interactions with them. Haven't had a lot of time to play, although this Viking 2 that I'm using right now specifically was acquired for the reason that it will work on 18 megahertz and 10 megahertz, which you know, you don't really have to have one of these rock crusher signals to have some fun. And on CW, this rig will cover those ranges, and it's one of the few from Vintage Radio that will cover the work bands without any modifications. Anyway, still a work in progress with the Viking 2. I'll turn it back to that. Just wanted to drop in if anybody has any comments on the Viking 2 audio. Yeah, the goal was not broadcast audio. It's just good communications grade audio, because a 100-watt transmitter is sometimes takes a beating in the evening on the band because of the crowded conditions. And one VIV, AB2RA.
Yeah, okay, we've got Al in there with a comment, so yeah, very good, John. Well, good morning, and a real pleasure to have you join our net, and I can see, wow, just spontaneously the benefits of Jim maybe possibly making a connection on that Variac is fabulous. So I guess that's how it works. You run into the right person at the right time, and maybe a need is fulfilled. So that's fabulous. And Viking 2 sounds very nice here. I'm running a Johnson Viking 2 as well, so really have always enjoyed running and messing around and working on these transmitters. So pretty easy to manage from the layout perspective for modifications and things of that nature. So, over to Al for a comment.
Janice, I think you've achieved your goal. It is not broad in any sense of the word, but yet I can hear sibilance. And you've gotten rid of the rough edge that a lot of Vikings have, if not all the stock Vikings have. So I think you've achieved your goal. I think it's a very nice sounding radio, over.
Yeah, well, thank you. And it will make 100% modulation at 230 mils plate current. I did replace the shunts, and they're calibrated to 1%. So I know exactly what the radio's doing. A lot of people don't change the shunts. Thanks for the report, though. I'm glad to hear that. Hugh, a friend of mine, has a nice CDC, and we're going to be doing that up for him pretty soon. AB2RA.
I'll be interested in the article when you get it to ER. Back in it.
Yeah, okay, very good. Well, agreed. I think the Viking 2 sounds very good, and you're making it from the far-flung regions there of New York. You're out towards, I don't know whether it's Utica or Rochester, again. But in any case, you're making it in here quite well, and it's a real pleasure to have you join us this morning. We're going to take a shot at round 2. But let's check first to see if there's any additional check-ins. Any other stations wishing to check into the AM carrier net, please call now. This is N1VIV. All right, well, nothing else heard there. So we'll see if we can proceed with round two. I guess I wanted to make 2 comments real quick, just to say thanks, Rob, for your comments on the lab. Yeah, boy, Marlene is she's been just a sweetheart of a dog for all these years. And I've got some pictures of every little era. She came to us when she was 9 months old. So we didn't have her as a puppy, but she was still, under a year old. And really, boy, she was, it's just so interesting to see them go through different phases where, she was just really a puppy and then a mature dog, and then move going on to, start to get a little bit of gray around the muzzle to now where she's almost completely white, but she's still a real sweetheart. I'm really grateful to have her still a part of our family, that's for sure. And we'll just take it a day at a time. That's how we approach things here. So very good. So let's take a run at round two. I made notes on most folks who were either staying or going. I didn't hear any additional check-ins. So we'll take a shot at round two and see how we make out here. Let's try to send it down to Jeff and see if he's still there in New Jersey. KD2 Alpha Zulu India. Let's see if we can hear you any better there, Jeff. This is N1VIV, over. Well, I suspect with the quiet nature of the band, we may have heard him better, but he may have needed to run, and because I was not hearing his transmission, he may have told me for round two. So we've got Jeff checked out there, but if you're listening, Jeff, please come back and see us as often as you can, and we'll hopefully be able to hear you better in future encounters. I believe Steve, as would be the customary, is checked out. We're just give a pause and listen. And so let's see if Perry's still there. W3MMR and the AM carrier net. And then you can just send it back to me. I'll manage through the list for round two. This is N1VIV. Okay, well, nothing heard from Perry there, so he may have needed to shift gears. I did not make note of that, but the next several stations, I know, were saying they were just going to be one and done. Bruce, if you're still listening, I was hearing you fairly well there from Maryland, so glad to hear you checked in. I was hearing Bob just fine and Jeff as well. No trouble at all. So let's see, I think Bud said he may stay. Let's give that a try. K1 Lima Charlie outside of Boston there. This is N1 VIV. Well, I had a question mark next to Bud. He wasn't sure if he was going to be able to stay, but thinking the potential of it anyway. So nothing heard. Let's see if Mark maybe made it back. I think Mark may have been the station trying to jump in to say he needed to run. But let's give it a try. K9 Tango Tango Sierra. If you're there, Mark, go ahead and take it. This is N1VIV. Making our way through the list here. Shorter than average round two, but let's carry on. Let's see if Gary's still there. K1IC, this is N1VIV. I'm surprised. Not too many people staying for round two, and I did not hear comments. Folks are checking out, but I may have missed a few here and there. Let's see if Howie's there. WF2Q for round two. N1VIV.
I'm not sure if I've got problems here. I think I may. That might be part of the problem here. Well, stand by 1 second here, guys. My apologies.
You're doing just fine.
Okay, my frequency count is acting wonky again. Something maybe I was off frequency, but I can tell from the response dial it's not the case. So I had made notes on. I know Ross is not still here, and I don't think Howie is still here. But let me give it another check just in case. WF2Q, if you're there, go ahead and take it. Then it would be, Greg, KE1MI, if you're there, you can take it.
Yeah, okay, Joe. Anyone VIV in the group? KE1MI, the dwindling group. Morning again, Joe. Let's see, I was just going to ran out, grab a cup of coffee, and came back in. Might cool down just a little bit here. Haven't run the Kenwood in a while, so I want to overdrive it because it certainly is a little bit better on the AM than the 7300. And of course, when you receive, when you get that, I get that noise in there. Boy, it's wicked loud here. So sometimes I can hear it even on Steve hears it, obviously, because I can hear it on his web receiver. So that goes clear down to Pennsylvania there when that comes in there. So if you get a weak signal, it gets kind of lost in the crowd on AM. It's a nuisance. I guess we got to deal with it. So anyway, still snowing here. Temperature's starting to fall off. I'm gonna have to get the stove lit. Get the fire going in the wood stove. That's my next adventure here this morning. Supposed to get some wicked wind here. Hopefully it's not too awful bad. I don't want the lights going out. Constant struggle living in rural Vermont, I guess. And it gets old, I tell you. There was a comment I wanted to make on something, and now it's totally slipping my mind there. Janice, you're still listening. To me, it sounds good on the transmitter. A nice signal here in the Louis-Speeds SPR receiver, but there's another local receiver. Heard you just fine too. So nice job on the audio. It sounds good, but I'm no audiophile. But Al gives it kudos, so I go with Al's audio report when I use one. Anyway, I guess I will hold it for the folks want to get back their day. And maybe we'll catch some of you guys later on the AWA net. I think I might try to check into that this afternoon. And I got the Patriots football game at 1 o'clock, so that'll be handy. I'll be able to go to that net later on after the game. So, everybody's free all the way around. Everybody, thanks for running the show. And back to you. N1 BRD. I'll be listening out for the remainder here. KE1MI, over.
Yeah, very good, Greg. Very good. Still beautiful signal coming in there from Vermont. I'm hearing you just fine, but yeah, the group has dwindled quite a bit here. But it's still good to have a few folks lingering. So back over to you, Al, and I'll certainly consider integrating some of those suggestions you made, and I think that others may as well to tidy up the check-in process. Much appreciated. Over to you, Al. W1VTP. This is N1VIP.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't like to do that, but I've seen it on other nets. And I know Joe makes a point of saying that he doesn't come back to everybody that checks in because of this very problem. Because if you think that you have to beat the net control to get it checked in, that you're going to dump your call in a hurry. And Anyway, let me get off that soapbox. I do want to congratulate Janice. I did just opened up my ER for December, and I see you have your virtualization scheme in there, and I'll have to take a look at that, because I do have a Viking 2 and a 1. You might comment if that works with both, or do we have to do something different with the other, if you know what I mean. In other words, I'm just quickly thumbing through the article right now. Viking 2, okay. So I'm wondering if that would work with the Viking 1, and is it necessary if you're only operating on the lower bands? I suspect not. But if you want to use it on 10 meters, which 10 meters still has a place in long-range propagation and drop hole and also sporadic key. But you do have to have a decent antenna. You don't necessarily get away with just using a dipole that's just a few feet off the ground, and also a linear. It helps a lot. So maybe the next article would be how to get that 100 watts up to 1500. I have a Collins 32V1 here, the 10 WA1 HLR modified, and he did some pretty clever stuff inside that machine where I can run that thing at a low power level, and it puts out about 15 watts, and that's perfect for running that into my Ameritron AL82, and I'd be on the air more with it, but the amplifier is right next to me, and people say that it's not a problem, but boy, it does annoy the crap out of me. I could get it down, but anyway, I've been disinclined to use it because the Class C works so well. It's just absolutely flawless. That's what I'm running right now. So, yeah, it's a busy schedule. Don't forget, guys, that we've moved things up a half an hour on the AWA net instead of... can't get my head together. Instead of 4 o'clock, it's 3:30 for the main event. And I take the list. I forget what he gave me as a title, but I take the list anyway, the pre-net list. And that's generally a pretty nice conversation goes on there. And we're right at the beginning of, that's a good time for winter operation, for good propagation. Generally speaking, most people make it very well, but the problem is with the cycle 24 minima that we end up with the band crapping out real early, and so it plummets, goes all the way from really great to can't hear you at all. So that's why Joe moved it up, and he's doing it on an experimental basis to see if it's going to work out. On another note, my Christmas planning is minimal. I have no real plans. I told everybody, do not buy me anything. You want to say something nice to me, or how much you appreciate, blah, blah, you know, that sort of thing. Be sentimental as hell. That works for me. That's all I need. I do not need presents, because when I want something, I get it. I'm at that stage of life that I can do that, and if I want something, I just go out and get it. And unless my daughter, for example, knit me a nice knit comforter for my recliner, and in the really cold part of the winter, that really works nice, and I certainly, she put hours and hours and hours into that thing. It makes it all worth more to me, sentimentally speaking. So I guess we're doing a full directed, normally I would be sending it to Jim, WA1MER, 2MER, I'm sorry, Jim. So if you're there, Jim, fine. If not, I guess it goes back to Joe, W1VTP.
Yeah, I heard that Jim was checking out, but I I'm not 100% sure. He may have needed to run. I didn't hear him, but just in case, we'll double check. WA2MER, if you're there. This is N1VIV. Okay, well, it's not as if he wouldn't have heard you, Al, that's for sure. Just bombing in here this morning. Let's see if Rob is still there. N1ALS. I know you were busy with the kiddos. Nice to hear Mateus, I think it was, on the radio. That's excellent. N1ALS. This is N1VIV.
All right, we're still here. N1ALF. Yeah. I'm doing wire management behind the radio here, and I'm trying to do 2 tornado management, and they're running around and touching everything there, and the dog's running around there. So everybody sounding good, you know. A lot of rain there yesterday, and the grounds are soaked, so I will go walking out there, slipping in the mud there. And the yard, I don't know. It's all torn up from the labs running around chasing rabbits here and skidding and sliding around. But anyway, things are good here. I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I was looking at Janice, if you're still listening. Yeah, you got 2 K7DYYs in the 160, 80, and 80 and 40. That's what we plan to do a little bit down the road, another deck there. So anyway, I forget, losing train of thought there because I'm trying to keep an eye on these guys here too. So, but anyway, we're going to sign out here and be listening out there and say 73. It's good to hear everybody, and trying to think what's next on the list. Well, it's another couple of months away. The AM rally will be kicking off this coming February. We'll have to talk to Clark and Bob Allison, see what the management is of that there, and that should be kicking off at the league again there. So, all right, I got to go. I got 2 tornadoes, Oklahoma and Kansas, coming through here, so we got to batten down the hatches. So 7-3s, everyone. Again, Joe, thank you for running in there, and I wish the puppy dog the best there. I know how much we all love our animals. So, and when you left, over to you, Joe.
Yeah, okay, Rob. I'm trying to remember. Is that you guys have twin grandchildren there? Is that right?
Yeah, identical twin boys, different fathers.
Goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. Hilarious. Well, yeah. Double the trouble, I suppose. Double the joy. No question about that. Yeah, good for you. I'm sure that it's a busy realm there. No question. Well, great to hear you, Rob, and thanks very much for coming back for round 2. Much appreciated. I imagine conditions are still holding up just fine, but let's send it back to Janice. And remind me, Janice, I apologize, I can't remember. I think you might be out toward Rochester, but maybe not that far out. I'm trying to remember now. AB2RA and the AM carrier net. This is N1VIV.
Yeah, actually, if you draw a line between Ithaca and Watkins Glen, I'm about halfway between those 2 cities out in flyover country. And to answer Al's question, the neutralization scheme would work in the Viking 1, although you might have to have a different amount of capacitance in the neutralizing condenser. I found the effects start to show on 40 meters. You know, as you tune the plate through resonance, the grid current varies. And on 20 meters, it would vary from 2 mils above the set point to 2 mils below the set point. And I'm sure on 10 meters it would have been much worse. Of course, the same thing happens with the Apache. And so the only thing to change in that circuit would be possibly you might need more or less neutralizing capacitance. But I found even on 40 meters the effect to be annoying. And after the circuit was installed, on 20 meters I tested it, and as you swing the plate through resonance, it deviates from set point. It goes up about a half a milliamp when you are right at resonance. There's a slight peak, but it's much better than what it was before. And nobody had ever treated that, to my knowledge. And I thought it was maybe a worthy opening salvo. There may be up to half a dozen articles in the making. I tried to break it all down into smaller projects, so there should be another one coming the following month, and then another one which is already in the can. So there's 3, and I think I have 2, maybe 3 more to offer. There already are some excellent resources in electric radio in the back issues, and I found some of those measures totally satisfactory. Years ago, the carrier net, I don't know whether they called it that. I can remember one of the stations, his name was Herb, and I think his call sign was K2BH. By the way, Don is in the shack. I'll let him
Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Don, AC2RS here. I've just had my second cup of coffee, so I think I'm coherent enough to talk to you all. Anyway, yeah, it's balmy 33 degrees here, and we got some snow, and that's all I've noticed so far this morning. I don't know if I've ever been on this net before, but hello, everyone. So, nice to meet you all, and I really have no news yet. No news is good news, I guess. So I'll just say 73 to everyone, give back the chance to get to the next person.
Okay, and I believe I'm the tail gunner, so, and one VIV, back to you. There's a comparison of a male voice on this rig, AB2RA.
Okay, Janice and Don. Good morning to you, Don. Nice to hear you in the shack this morning. My name is Joe. My call is N1VIV, and I'm located in Stonington, Connecticut. It's interesting you mentioned some of the historical context of using the term AM carrier net, because I know that there's a group on sideband, but I can't remember exactly where they gather. There may still be some iteration of that original group. This particular net was started by Dick W2DAP in the, I'd have to say it was probably the early to mid-90s. I think we're coming up on our 17th year. So it's a little different iteration, I guess. But I have heard that other net lives in some capacity, and that may be a descendant of that original net we were speaking of, where this is a little bit different offshoot group that was started by Dick on this frequency back in the 1990s. But all very interesting information, so much appreciated for sure. And very good on your publication there on electric radio. That's fabulous. And glad to see. I do not subscribe to that. No, that might be interesting to consider getting back into that. That's for sure. Well, let me give a check here just to see if there's any additional check-ins for the net before we wrap up official duties. I probably need to shift gears and get to some stuff on my end. But let's see, any other check-ins for the net, please call now. This is N1VIV. Comment.
Yeah, no additional check-in. So go ahead, Al, and I'll be lingering here. I'll probably come back for one more transmission, but then I've got to switch gears and jump out. I don't hear anybody else jumping in, so over to you. N1VI.
Yes, if you go to my QRZ page, you'll see that there is indeed another carrier net per se, which I think predates the 1990s. I'm quite sure of that. My apologies for the feedback, but they meet on 3935. That's 3935. Mondays through Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock, main event, with a half-hour pre-net. So at around 8:30, folks start checking in and making comments and this and that. But the frequency is 3935, and the time is 9 o'clock, and they meet every day of the week except Sundays. That's the information. Over.
Yeah, okay. I think you may have shared that in the past, Al, and that was what I was trying to recall. So very good on that information, and it probably does have some connection to the group that Janice was referencing from back in the 70s. So very interesting indeed. Very good. Well, I'm going to leave it to whomever would like to carry on. I know, Al, you're still here. I think Rob said he might need to slip out of here. Janice and Don are still here. I think I'm just going to go into the listening mode. Thanks so much, everyone, for a fabulous net. If there's folks lingering, please feel free to carry on. And if there's others that might be just sliding in here to join in, then the use of the frequency would make perfect sense. But I'm going to slide into the listening mode and look forward to seeing folks next Sunday at 8 a.m. So 7-3 for now. I'm just going to be listening. I'll send it back to you, Al, for any comments, and maybe Janice may stay to carry on as well. W1VTP and the closing of the AM carrier net. I'll be listening. This is N1VI.
N1VIV, AB2RA. If you have a chance, I would heartily recommend subscription to Electric Radio and access to their older issues. If you like vintage equipment, even just reading about it, it's a wonderful resource, and it's triggered a lot of projects for me, giving me wonderful ideas to. There are people with homebrew articles and restoration articles and historical articles. It's the one and only magazine that I read cover to cover, including the ads. AB2RA.
Yeah, okay, very good, Janice. Yeah, no, well, it's excellent. I'm very acquainted. I subscribed from, I have to say, probably 1997 or 1998, somewhere in that neighborhood. I subscribed from then till about 2005, and then I think I kind of let it fall off. It may have gone to 2007, and then I kind of